I want to first thank you for taking your time. I want you to pronounce your name and everything for everybody because I don't want to mess it up because I understand that. Okay, so I want you to
Yeah.
introduce yourself and talk a little bit about how we got connected for this conversation.
Okay, thanks.
Hmm.
Once again, thanks. And I'm grateful. My name is Chinedu. My name is Chinedu. I'm from Nigeria.
Okay,
And
all right.
all I do is help company tell their stories. I'm a storyteller. I help company tell their story to their target audience on social media,
Mhm.
any social platform, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
Mhm.
So I got connected with you on LinkedIn after you read one of my posts,
Mhm. All right.
which your comment aligned with me, and I'm used to doing one thing. If your if your content or your comments align with my goals, I reach out to you. So we got connected, and I see what you're doing. That you're doing an awesome job. I've gone ahead to listen to some of your podcasts, and I said this is the type of people I really want to work with to get the message out and help so many people who
Awesome.
might be struggling
That
one
is
way or the
awesome.
other.
Okay, so um, I remember a little bit about your story because what I have done just to kind of let everybody get up to speed about how we got connected is actually sending out letters to people that are in my network um, to explain to them, what is a life lesson that you want to share with the audience. Because, my mentality is it takes a village in order for us to be successful. And by that, I mean us being available to help one another in the areas that we desire to get the leadership from or mentoring, anything that we are aspiring to do that we can glean on the expertise and the knowledge of other people within our community to help us get where we wanted to go. So the message that we were going to
Yeah,
discuss today is how you went from looking for a job to making that transition to being an entrepreneur. So if we could kind of start with that and tell us a little bit
yeah.
about, your journey and where you are today. Mhm.
Wow, wow, wow. That's a that's a journey I love sharing with people because I know at some point in life
Mhm.
everyone is trying to make a living. Wherever you, or no matter who you are, where you're from, what you do, we are all trying to make a living. We wake up every day in the morning, we go out, we put our kids in school. All
Mhm.
we are just trying to do is to make a living. And the aspect of job is something that is related to
Mhm.
everybody, if I am correct. Everybody, every able body, we have some people who don't work again like they're done. But everyone at some point in life we have to work. And that was my greatest challenge coming out of school in
Mhm.
2015. And I needed to work to support my family coming from a poor background, and I know how to stand up for myself, but it was very difficult. And
Mhm.
with everything possible, just more more than 100
Mm.
more than 100 resume. I sent it to recruiters, but it was not just working. At some point I was depressed, I was frustrated, and I do not believe in myself. Maybe something good can never come out from
Mhm.
me, or maybe I can never be useful for anything. So what do I do in this situation? Then I got on social media. I love to write, but writers are underrated. It's not a
Right.
profession you can say you just make money like that. You make a living out of it. Because if you look at great writers, you know that these are people that have made name for themselves in the
Mhm.
industry. Take, for example, Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk. These are people that everyone knows them
Mhm.
already. So it's easier if they are writing a book because they are well known. Now, for someone like me,
Mhm.
who is nobody, the only person I have is God. So how do I venture into a profession that I no one
Mhm.
knows me and I want to make a living? But I discovered writing is something that is just very easy for me to do. I can do it for
Okay.
free. So I started writing on all social platforms and bringing up my messages to people, talking about struggles that we go through as a
Mhm.
job seeker, growing up, all the struggles we go through. While I was putting my content out, a lot of people were loving what I was
Mhm.
writing because they could easily relate with it. And I started making lots of friends, lots of friends, lots of friends. And one day I met the right connection that said to me, I love your write up. You write very well.
Mhm.
I wouldn't mind if you would come and work with me. I said, but what would I do? He said, you write very well. We have so many social media pages. I
Mm.
think we can be writing for our products. And that's where the transition started. I said, oh, write for product. How do I do that? Then he started teaching me how to do storytelling. When you write stories, your
Mm.
audience enjoy it and it doesn't look like you're selling. So it's like writing a story for people to enjoy, but at the same time you're
Mm.
selling. But the audience doesn't see it as you're selling. So I started doing it. Before you know it,
Mhm.
I learned it perfectly and I said, wow, this is good. And I started consulting myself and I reached out to so many companies. I said, hey, this is what I do. This is what I can help you with. And I discovered that so many companies were actually struggling to get the message in front of in front of the audience. So I was able to
Mhm.
come into that space and solve that problem for some companies. And I started getting recommendation from these companies. And at some point, the
Wow.
offers were too much that I could not even handle everything. Then I had to bring in some people. I brought in some people and I coached them and
Awesome.
I coached them on how they can be a good storytellers. And we are working together. And we've been working from 2017 to 2019. And in the space of 2017 to 2019, I went from being broke,
Mhm.
when you don't have anything in your bank account, and I went to having enough money to take
Mhm.
care of my mom, to take care of my
Mm.
siblings, and I got a house for my mom, I got a car for myself, and
Mm.
we can eat whatever we want to eat any day.
Mhm.
And I still remain very humble
Mhm.
to give back to the community because I know there are so many people like me who are
Mhm.
struggling to make a living out there. And when it comes to making a living, there's one thing about life. It's not about how good or how
Mhm.
expensive you are. You just need the right connection
Mhm.
to be in the right place at the
Mhm.
right time to get the right opportunity. And a lot of people keep struggling. And that's why you see some talents going down the lane because they are not in that right space. They are not in that right. They are not connected to the right
Mhm.
people, and it becomes difficult. A lot of people are depressed, suicides every time. You see everyone commit suicide. There's a lot of havoc happening in the community because a lot of people cannot just make that living. And when you cannot make living with
Mhm.
bills to pay, with kids to take care of, with your own
Mhm.
personal needs, one could be depressed, frustrated, and you start thinking the whole
Mhm.
world hates you. And if care is not taken, such person can commit
Mhm.
suicide because the person will feel
Right.
defeated. So what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? How do we save the community? How
Mhm.
do we save the people? It's by telling them when you're trying to make a living, be bold, show yourself, even if you think no one would
Mhm.
value what you're doing. I never knew everyone would value what I was writing.
Mhm.
I was just writing. I was
Mhm.
just writing. There's some people at some point they come to me and they tell me, "Oh, you write horrible. You don't write well." Your writing is
Mhm.
terrible. But I still see people that come to me and say, "Oh, I love what you've written. This is really talking to me.
Mhm.
This is about me.
Mhm.
This is the story of my life."
Mhm.
And I discover two things. You find people that will love you, you find people that will hate you. But what's important is getting your own message out because that's your
Right.
voice.
Mhm.
And you should never silence your
Mhm.
voice. Bring out your voice. And that's what I did. And that's what brought the transition. That's what what changed me from being a desperate job seeker
Mhm.
to a comfortable entrepreneur. And
Mhm.
I must tell you the truth. Ever since I've been doing I've been getting my voice out of there. Everyone thinks I'm rich, but I'm not rich. I'm just happy that I'm doing what I love
Right.
doing. I'm just happy within me because happiness is within. Like you said in
Mhm.
your podcast, your happiness has to come from
Mhm.
within. Because sometimes you think if I have X, Y, Z, I'll be happy. But you realize when you have X, Y, Z, you become more sad, more
Right.
depressed. Because
Mhm.
those things tend to satisfy you in the short run.
Mhm.
But the only happiness you can have should come from within. Whether you have this or you don't that.
Mhm.
Just the only thing you owe yourself is to live the life you want.
Mhm.
And it should not be based on money or material things because if we keep chasing material things, they'll fade away.
Right.
So what do I tell all these people out there who are trying to make a living and they think
Mhm.
life is against them? Listen, life is not against anybody. Life is meant to be lived.
Mhm.
And there's nothing guaranteed. But when the going gets tough and strong, only the strong gets going.
Right. Yeah.
Meaning you cannot sit, fold your hands and expect everything to come to you. Yeah, but you have to keep trying, getting your voice out there.
Mhm.
Because you never know who is the right person that will hear you and that will connect you. And the only thing you need to get into to live the life of your dream
Mhm.
is just that opportunity.
Mhm.
You just need that. Everyone needs that opportunity to get into the right place.
Mhm.
And how do you get that opportunity when you are down?
Right.
I mean, when you're not speaking,
Mhm.
when you're not getting yourself out. How do we know you are good when we do not see any glimpse of your work?
Right.
That's what I tell people.
Mhm.
Don't fold hands and keep looking for jobs. Sometimes show the world what you can do. And we're in the digital world now where we have the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so many platforms,
Mhm.
you name it.
Mhm.
Get on there, show your expertise, show what you're good at.
Mhm.
You never know. Every day, opportunities abound,
Mhm.
but you just need to keep showing yourself to attract opportunity
Mhm.
because success does not lower its standard.
Right.
You have to step up to attract it. That's what I have to tell the people.
Mhm. That's
Thank you.
awesome. Now, so let's talk a little bit. You've had so many nuggets that you said in that whole um, journey. But the first thing is, the talk about not feeling like you have value or worth based on your circumstance. So, going into the writing, because there could be somebody listening that's, at that point. So, how did you talk yourself on the other side? Because a lot of times when we have those feelings, I know in my case, when I struggle with depression, it's kind of like a isolation. You might feel this way, but you're not talking about it. You're not telling people. So it's kind of like a downward spiral that keeps you stuck. So, what was it that helped you get that transition to get out of that stuck mode?
Thank
Mhm.
you. I have a friend in Colorado
Mhm.
University. So he's doing his masters. He went from Nigeria to America to do his masters after our
Mhm.
graduation. So I talked to him. I said, "Hey friend, I'm tired. I'm depressed. I've been trying every possible means. I've sent over 100 CVs and there's nothing happening at the moment. I've gone to numerous interviews and nothing is happening. Can you help me?
Mhm.
I need to change. Maybe I need to change my location. I want to come to America." Then he said one word. He said, "While we're in school, you write a lot, and I love the way you write. If I were you, I would not look for a job."
Mm.
And I said, "Wow, why did you say that?" He said, "Because you're talented. You just need to show your talent."
Wow.
And I sat down and I was thinking, because I respect him a lot. He's a very brilliant guy. He's a genius.
Mhm.
I said, if this guy could look at me and say this, then I need to really look at myself. Why did he say this?
Right.
So now, this is what I tell people: when you get depressed, you have to speak up.
Mhm.
Tell people, talk to someone.
Mhm.
Problem solved is half shared. If I did not share my problem with you,
Mhm.
I'll still be sitting down somewhere depressed, thinking the whole world is against
Right.
me. So I tell people, when you're depressed, find that one person that you can talk to.
Mhm.
Talk to the person. Express how you feel.
Mhm.
Sometimes what you think you don't have, you have it.
Right.
You just need someone to open your eyes to see
Mhm.
it. And that was what my friend did. He said, if I were you, I would not be looking for a job.
Right.
I will get on social platform and sell my writing ability to people.
Mm.
And I sat and said, wow,
Mhm.
this is
Mhm.
true. That's how I got on social platform. And I started looking for writing opportunities. I started applying for some. Then I started writing a lot. When I was writing something that can educate, entertain the people. Sometimes I entertain them, sometimes I educate them.
Mhm.
Then the opportunity came. So that's why I say just speak up, speak to
Mhm.
someone, talk to someone, share your
Mhm.
problem, share it with someone that you
Right.
trust, someone that you
Mhm.
respect, because not everyone you share your problem
Right.
with. Some just wanna some just wanna listen to you and compare you with their life and said, "Oh, I think I'm better than this person.
Right.
This person is going through X. So my case is better than this person." But talk to someone who will truly listen to you.
Mhm.
We all have that one
Mhm.
person. As I'm talking to you, you have one person I know you always go to
Mhm.
when things are not really clear. So what's one advice? Talk to
Right.
someone, and they might have the solution that you think you're looking for.
Mhm.
Thank you.
That is awesome. Yeah. Now, and then another thing is, the whole concept of seeing that you actually took action. So being in the area or the type of industry for what it was that you wanted to do. And the opportunity came with you taking action. So, let's say you go into writing, somebody else, it could be maybe they sing or we all have different gifts and talents. So when you got started doing your writing, for somebody who's there and just saying, hey, I don't have any money, I don't really know what to do, what do you recommend that they start with as kind of like taking that small baby step today that can move them forward on their journey?
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you. One thing I tell people is I even talked about it tonight on one of my posts. I said, try help people,
Mhm.
volunteer. You have to volunteer,
Mhm.
especially when you're raw, when you're just new.
Right.
Sometimes you don't even need that paid
Mhm.
opportunity. You just need to leverage on someone's network.
Mhm.
Why don't you go? Okay, you can sing. Why don't you go to somewhere? Go to a musician. maybe an upcoming musician. Say, oh, can I be a backup with you?
Mhm.
Can I just be a backup artist?
Mhm.
Just to get, sometimes you need to get the experience and even understand the game. Like when I started writing, I wrote for free.
Mhm. Mhm.
I remember I wrote for Business Expat Press in New York City.
Mhm.
I saw the adverts like they are looking for people to work with them, but they will not pay, but they will publish your work.
Right.
And I reached out to the editor and I said I'm interested, and they allowed me to
Mhm.
write. And I wrote and I kept that work.
Mhm.
So along the line, when I was looking for paid opportunity, when they asked me, do you have any experience? I just bring out that from my portfolio. So I wrote for this person.
Right.
I wrote for that company. So you have to volunteer.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of people are sitting and waiting for that big fat
Right.
opportunity to come.
Mhm.
But it doesn't work that way. Sometimes you need to update yourself, like your CV.
Mhm.
You need to get your CV loaded.
Mhm.
What if you volunteer? There are numerous. If you're looking for, there are many opportunities that you can volunteer for free. Trust me, you will find it.
Mhm.
All you just do is go online, search, then look at people in your niche. Like I'm a writer, I should look at people that are writing too,
Mhm.
and go to them for advice and say, "What can you? How can you help me? This is where I am.
Mhm.
This is what I need."
Mhm.
They will give you valuable advice that you do not even have to pay for.
Right.
So I tell people just go volunteer.
Mhm.
Volunteer.
Mhm.
You never know. If you volunteer and you do it well, there's one thing in life. People, when people see quality, they recognize it.
Right.
So if you volunteer and you do a good job, there's no way the person would want you to go.
Mhm. Mhm.
I know many who had volunteer and they got a
Right.
job because they saw the real quality in them. I said, oh, if we let this person go, it will be a loss to us.
Mhm.
Why not just time them?
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
that's just a volunteer to update your CV.
Right. Great advice. That is awesome. Okay. Now, so let's say that you feel like you had a lot of pressure, with your family, just the responsibility, for being a provider and things like that. So, how do you balance the pressure versus, this process of getting to where you are now? What were some of the tools that you used or routines that help keep you focused, because of course you mentioned that we volunteer and we do these things to update our skills and to get us around the right people that can give us even more opportunities. But during that time, when you're working on building, what are some things that you had to implement in your life to keep you focused on what your end goal was, even though that wasn't manifesting overnight? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
definitely, definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know, I'm grateful for the family that I have because one thing they understand the Bible
Mhm.
and they know everything in life takes time. So when I was going through those hard moments, they stood behind me.
Mhm.
So one thing I can say is I owe that to my family. Like they stood behind me.
Mhm.
They were not
Right.
demanding. We were in it. We were in it together.
Mhm. Mm.
So they know, oh, this is what he's
Mm.
going through. And the best they did for me was encourage me and support me, even when those opportunities were not coming to me.
Mhm.
And it comes by being truthful and open to your family.
Mhm.
You have to be open to them and say, this is the way things are at the moment.
Mhm.
And this is what I'm trying to do. All I need is your support. Yes, don't be upset that I cannot bring XYZ now.
Mhm.
But I just need your support.
Mhm.
And I look at them as my motivation. I owe these people X, Y, Z.
Right.
So that keeps me going. It's like a fire that I must not fail
Mhm.
because of them,
Mhm.
because they were supporting me.
Mhm.
They were patient with me.
Mhm.
So I look at them and I turn that into a motivation.
Mhm.
And I just have to say, I must get it right. I must be focused. I must keep pushing
Mhm.
because of these people's love and support,
Mhm.
because of their understanding.
Mhm.
And it comes to like being true to your
Mhm.
family. Let them know where you are. I said, this is where I am. You don't need to fake anything. You don't need to feel like you failed them.
Right.
Let them know life is not rosy all the
Yes.
time. It's not a roller coaster. So you just tell them,
Mhm.
this is where I am. I need your support. I need your prayer. I need your
Mhm.
encouragement. And trust me, they'll give it to you if you're open to
Right.
them. They'll give it to you,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know. Or, we're all from different families, and a lot of people may not have good relationships with their family. I understand
Mhm.
that. Yeah, I understand
Mhm.
that. But irrespective of that,
Mhm.
you just have to beg for the support, the love, the understanding of your family. If you owe them,
Mhm.
you have to beg them to give you that time and use it as a fuel.
Mhm. That's good.
Use it as a passion,
Mhm.
as the as the energy to keep burning.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
That
it.
is awesome. Yeah. So this is some great, great, great advice. Now, what is the future for you? What are some of your goals that you're working on now?
Yeah, Pagoda. Uh, I actually started a charity organization I called Africa
Mhm.
Unite. My goal, as it is to build that organization to an international level.
Okay.
And it started by one day I was at the ATM. I went to use an ATM machine to get some
Mhm.
money, and I saw a young boy crying. I said, "Why are you crying? Go to school, cause it was like nine o'clock in the
Mhm.
morning. You should be in your class." And they said he was asked to go home because he didn't pay his tuition.
Mm.
And I said, then go home and tell your parents so they can come and settle you. Come and get out of this place. I was like trying to be a good brother to this unknown young
Mhm.
boy. So I was like, will you get out of this place and go back to your class and stop being lazy around? And he said, there's nowhere I want to go to. Go to your parents. I don't have parents. They are late. I said, then who do you
Mhm.
stay with? He said, I stay with my grandmother. Then go to your grandmother's.
Mhm.
He said, if I go to my grandmother, she's not going to give me anything. So there's no point going home. I said, then how do you pay your tuition all this for? He said, I pay it myself. Then I look at him like, you must be crazy. What are you saying? You're just a boy of like 10 or 11 year old. Where do you
Mhm.
get the money from? Do you steal?
Mhm.
Then he said, I hawk in the streets. He hawks sake of water
Mm.
and he saves money from it to pay his tuition. I said, Jesus Christ, how old are you? He said, 11.
Mhm.
I said, unbelievable. Then I said, can I go to your school and ask your teacher this story you've told me because I want to know if it's true
Mhm.
or you're lying to me
Mhm.
because I don't believe.
Right.
He said, he said, yes. I said, get into the car and let's go.
Mhm.
I took him back to school and I walked into the office. I said, excuse me, do you know this young boy? They said, yes. Does this school here? Yes.
Mhm.
Do you know his story? And the teacher told me, yes, he does not have parents and he lives with his grandma. He even hawks to pay his tuition himself. I said, but why do you collect money from him when you know his story?
Mhm.
I said, because there's nothing we can do. We have many people like him in this school,
Mm.
so we cannot help all of them. We don't have the capacity to help them.
Right.
And I felt so bad. I said, how much is his tuition? And they told
Mm.
me, I said, can you get me like 10 more good students who comes to school regularly, who performs well in the school, so I can pay for these 10 people that do not have parents.
Mm.
Then they brought 10 people and I paid and I promised that I'll keep paying every session. I'll keep paying their tuition.
Wow.
Then I sat down and said, "This is the time to give back to the community because I was realizing, you know,
Mhm.
I'm not from a rich home, and it's trying to help other people, the community." And I was able to go to school and get to this level. I said, would it not be good if I give back to the community as well?
Mhm.
Then I started this. I started giving back to the community through these kids. And I said,
Mhm.
okay, I want to start this movement in Nigeria. Then I
Mhm.
can encourage other African countries. Like, we don't have to wait for government. We just have to look around and see what we can do for our own people.
Right.
We are the government of our own life.
Mhm.
Being Africa is having problem with leadership. The
Mhm.
problem Africa has is poor leadership.
Mhm.
Um, we've been complaining about this for ages and it will not solve anything.
Right.
What if we take our destiny into our own hands?
Right.
If my fellow African brothers, if we bring $1 together, we will
Mhm.
be serving the needs of the people in the society without waiting on government. And
Mhm.
that's why I named Africa Unite and I talked about it and a lot of people are interested in
Mhm.
making this work. But I'm being careful that I go through the right process. I get the right documentation for this.
Mhm.
So so I don't run into trouble and government don't think I'm trying to take money from people.
Right.
So but in the long run I look forward to getting investors to come and let's do Africa unite and let's put so many kids that don't have parents but are willing to go to school but
Right.
they don't have the help. Let's
Mhm.
put them back into school.
Right.
Let's monitor them. Let's grow future African leaders.
Mhm.
You know, I said because if we don't take care of these kids that wants to go to school but they don't have the means, they will turn up to be something else. They'll
Right.
become rogues, they'll become
Mhm.
criminals, and they're gonna disturb our peace.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because when a man is hungry, he can do anything. He
Right.
can steal your money, he can rob you, he can steal your car, he can even kill you.
Mhm.
So it's a problem if we overlook it and say there's nothing we can do about it. We'll be the
Mhm.
one to suffer it. So that's why I said Africa unite. Let Africans come together. Let's solve our own problems.
Mhm.
Let's take action.
This is awesome.
Let's let's help the poor. Let's help the needy.
Mhm.
You know, if we have rich people and we have poor people, the poor will not make the rich sleep at
Mhm.
night. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
So that's my long term goal. I hope I'll be able to achieve this in the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay. That's awesome. Well,
Thank you.
I just want to thank you again for this insight and, being able to share your story with us. And, it's inspirational, because a lot of times we look at where people are, like you mentioned, Tony Robbins and Gary Vaynerchuk, and, everybody started at the same spot. You start at the first step, before you get to the finish line. So we all start at the same place, but we are the ones that kind of project ourselves at being at different places. So, like if you are just learning how to play the piano, for example, everybody pretty much starts in the same place. You have to learn the keys. You have to know where to put your fingers on the piano and learn the music. So some of us may be gifted to where there's a gift where it allows us to understand and see these things more clearer, and we can move forward in ways that other people cannot. But in terms of the learning process, it all starts at the same step. And so we kind of get in our own way with this mentality of thinking, some other things that are not related to the actual skill itself hinder us from our own development. So for example, if you have a job and you use the money from your job to pay your bills, if that situation is interrupted for whatever reason, that still doesn't make you less valuable because you're not getting paid for a particular position. You can just go get another job. And for some people, that's a hard thing to kind of deal with because you have that comfort zone of being in a particular position, doing a certain thing. So you equate that to your worth rather than knowing that the worth is inside you. And so when things come to disrupt our peace, so to speak, a downsize or, something happens where, we go through a life transition and things aren't what they always used to be. Being able to have these strategies and mindsets to recognize who we are within ourselves is so important because, life is filled with a lot of obstacles. Everything is not roses by any stretch of the imagination, you
Right.
know? So it's these things that help build our character. And this is some good insight because a lot of people may be at that place, where they're feeling like, hey, I feel like, I'm looking at the wrong thing, looking at the problem more so than being able to see the solution. So I really appreciate your perspective and your story and the knowledge that you have shared with us. So as we close, what is one piece of advice that you would give someone today that may be listening and is in that state of feeling like, they don't have any value and, they don't know what to do next? What would you say to them today?
Yeah. Thank you once again. What
Mhm.
I'll say to anyone listening to me is assumption is the lowest form of knowledge.
Mhm.
Sometimes we just say, oh, I'm not this, I'm not that because I don't have this, because I don't have that.
Mhm.
You are what you say to yourself. Believe me,
Mhm.
what you say to yourself comes into reality. So, wherever you are, no matter how you feel, I want you to know it's just for a moment. It doesn't last forever.
Right.
Because you did not get this and that, it's just for the moment. Everything will become a story.
Mhm.
I remember when I would walk on barefoot to school. Now they are all moments. I just remember them and laugh because now I just drive myself to wherever I want to go to.
Mhm.
Now, if you ask me those times that would I be able to have achieved this in a short period of time, I would say no. But I believe one day I will, and I did.
Right.
I have a house I drew when I was 10 or 11 years old. And one day
Mhm.
my mom brought out that picture and said, look at the house you drew when you were 10 or 11 years. And today I have a house.
Mhm.
Meaning what you say to yourself as a way of coming into reality. So be
Mhm.
positive always, even if you're in the midst of trouble, or
Mhm.
storm. Be
Mhm.
positive and say
Mhm.
something positive to yourself.
Mhm.
Because whether you like it or not, it's for a moment. It doesn't last forever.
Mm. That is great. That's beautiful. Well, I just want to thank you again for joining us today. And I look forward to us connecting again. If there's anything that I can do to help you move forward, please let me know. Anything you need me to share on my platform. I just have really enjoyed this conversation, and I look forward to all the great things that are in your future.
Thank thank you. I know one day this year program will be so big that the whole world will be listening to it.
Oh, thank you so much. I am honored. Yeah, it takes a village. So as long as we continue to share and help one another, you're right. There's no limit to what we can all achieve together. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You
Yeah.
didn't teach me how to pronounce your name.
My name or your name?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Okay, my name is Lachelle.
Okay, Lachelle.
Mhm.
So it's awesome.
So
Chin,
say yours again for me.
I'm Chinedu.
Chinedu.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chinedu, I got you. I usually come up with a little nickname. So I'll call you Chin. I have a friend. I don't. Do you know Yemi?
uh,
Um, he's
no,
from Nigeria. Okay,
Ivory,
well
Ivory.
if you look on some of my posts, he has been. We've done several videos together. I
Okay,
think we did one a couple weeks ago. But
okay.
he is working on the He She Summit.
Oh,
It's a
Ifeshi
summit that
Summit. Ifeshi
yeah.
Summit. I know him. I know him.
Mhm. Yeah, so I call him Yemi, but that's not his name. So hey, I call you Chinedu. But I'll come up with something so I remember. You know.
Almost everyone calls me Chin, 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 Chin.
Chin. Okay. So yeah, that's because that was the thing for me when I was younger. People would mess up my name, so I don't mind having something abbreviated short, so that way, and then it just I feel like I know them a lot better because it's like, hey, I'm on a nickname type of platform, not as formal.
That's awesome, yeah.
Well, it has been a pleasure, Chin. Okay, and I thank you again. And anytime that I can do anything to help you, please reach out and let me know. Okay.
I appreciate it. Thanks very much. I
All
appreciate it.
right. Well, you are so welcome, and you have a wonderful evening. Okay.
You too. You
All
too.
right.
Thanks.
Uh
Thanks for
huh.
having me. Yeah.
You you are welcome. Okay.
Yeah. We do this again.
All right.
All right.
You have a good night. Okay.
Yeah, you too. Have a wonderful evening over there.
Okay.
Yeah, bye.
Bye bye.